So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Today's story is a story of strategy and opportunity. It is a story where elegance met success. It is a story where family life meets with business enterprise. It is a story of love that defied all society's expectations. It is the love story of Folashade Okoya and Chief RASAQ Okoya. Alhaji Chief RASAQ Akani Okoya is a Nigerian billionaire industrialist and business magnate.
My family is still being controlled by few expatriates. Believe me, there's a lot of money in it, sometimes more than oil and gas, which we are hoping for.
He was born on the 12th of January 1940 in Lagos, Nigeria, and he was raised in Isaleko, Lagos Island. Alhaji RASAQ came from very lowly beginnings. His father, Ayinde Okoya, was a tailor and a petty trader, sewing clothes and selling tailoring accessories. And he spent a huge chunk of his childhood working at his father's shop. In the process, he was not only getting hands-on experience in tailoring business, he was also developing interest in commerce and understudying his father. Alhaji RASAQ attended Ansarudeen Primary School there in Lagos, and that would become the only formal education that he would ever get. He even dropped out from school before he could finish primary school. He said that he couldn't meet up with the many demands of what he had to do at his father's shop, as well as combining his education. And besides, he said that he would see those big merchants at Lagos Island dressing well and driving fancy cars, and he would compare that standard of living to his impoverished teachers at school, wearing rags and worn-out clothes. He said that that further made him lose interest in formal education, endearing him more to business.
Right from the youth, I determined what I want to be. My father is a tailor and he sells tailoring materials. I went to school, but my father didn't allow me much because I have to be in his shop, keep on doing tailoring, selling buttons and everything. From there I get my fashion. From there I am specialized in what I want to do in life. And I've done it very successfully. I have no regret at all.
So yes, he left school and faced his father's tailoring business squarely. After working at his father's tailoring shop for a while, he began his own tailoring business, and then he began saving little by little. He saved up to 30 pounds, and his mother supported him with an additional 50 pounds. And then Alhaji RASAQ began the business of importation. He began importing items from Japan. With hard work and total dedication, Alhaji's importation business blossomed. He became one of the major importers of Italian shoes into Nigeria. On this fateful occasion, he had paid his business partners in Italy a lot of money to ship some containers of shoes to him. But despite his payment, he waited and did not receive his consignment. Alhaji grew rather impatient and frustrated, and then he decided to travel all the way to Italy to meet the manufacturers. When he got to Italy, to his utter shock and disappointment, he discovered that these manufacturers had diverted his monies to settle their domestic outstandings, to pay their bills, instead of producing the shoes that he paid them to produce. Oh, Alhaji was so upset. He decided there and then to begin manufacturing his own shoes. And so he imported all the machineries and even brought in some people to come and train his staff. And boom, Alhaji had his own manufacturing industry. In 1978, he established the Eleganza group. So business was growing and booming. And at this point, Alhaji had a wife that was obsessed with jewelry, very costly jewelry. He was very surprised when he learnt of the price, which he believed was way more inflated than it should cost. He looked around him and he saw that we had all the materials around us, and he saw the opportunity to explore that market. He embarked on a trip abroad, purchased all the requisite equipment, and began his own jewelry production business in Nigeria. The Eleganza jewelry, oh my God, it was affordable, it was beautiful, it was accessible, and its demand skyrocketed. That venture was an extraordinary success. But no, Alhaji was not done. When I called him a business magnate, I was not exaggerating.
I have passion for industry. I want to be known for industrialists. Tomorrow, my legacy is industry, so I have to keep it going.
The Eleganza group of companies had an extensive product portfolio, from household plastics, tables, chairs, various plastic wares. There were a variety of coolers and warmers. Oh my God, where are my 70s and 80s children? Let me know down in the comment section. Your mother must have had an Eleganza cooler in her kitchen. If you know, you know. There were biros and ball pens once again. If you attended schools back then in the 90s, you should have known Eleganza biro. Raise your hands in the comment section if you used Eleganza pen. There were luggage boxes, suitcases. He was not just a businessman or an importer. He was a full-blown industrialist. He had over 5,000 persons in his employment. He had several factories scattered across several acres of land all across Lagos State, from Oregu to Lagos to Isolo to Alaba to Igomu, name it. He built a magnificent estate, the Eleganza Mansion, also known as the Oluwashola Estate. This estate, located in the Lekki area of Lagos, boasts of multiple luxurious residential buildings, one of which has 30 rooms. One of the buildings has 30 bedrooms. It had several elevators, a sauna, a mosque, bowling alleys, swimming pools, acres and acres of lands filled with lush gardens, a tennis court, multiple equipped gyms, a private cinema, a party hall, music and dance studios, a library, a helipad, conference rooms, series of outdoor lounges, just name it. That impoverished little school dropout that was helping his father to fix zippers and sell buttons had worked his way to the very top. He had become a multi-billionaire, one of the richest men in Nigeria and even Africa as a whole. He was given the title of the Are of Lagos State. Alhaji Chief RASAQ Okoya was an established man, but his personal life? Some people have described Chief RASAQ as a chronic womanizer. Now I'm going to use those titles, Chief and Alhaji, interchangeably. So some people have described him as a womanizer, while some have said that he had the temperament that a lot of women could not put up with. But whatever it was, he had seen plenty of women in his lifetime. Before Chief RASAQ got married to his first wife, Alhaja Kuburat Okoya, he had been involved with 3 women who bore him several children. And then he married Alhaja Kuburat, who bore him 7 children. And then he went ahead to get married to 5 different women at different intervals.
No, my husband started having wives very, very early in his life. He had 3 different women that had children for him and didn't stay. Then he married Alhaja, who is Big Mommy. Big Mommy had her own children. Then 5 other women came after her before I came into the family.
He got married to Ajoke Okoya and then to Yetunde Okoya. And then there was Jennifer Okoya. And then he married Zainab Okoya. These many women bore him many children, but none of them were able to stay with Chief RASAQ. They all came and left and moved out, and he was left alone once again with his first wife, Ahaja Kuburat. He stayed with Kuburat until he met Shade. Folashade Noimat Okoya was a young, beautiful Muslim girl from Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State. After her primary and secondary education, she proceeded to Lagos State Polytechnic, where she obtained a national diploma in banking and finance. Shade came from a very humble background, born into a very polygamous setting herself. You know those settings, those scenarios that some of our Yoruba daddies had back in the day, where they would keep one wife in a jangbadi, camp another concubine in Okokomaiko, establish another family in Bariga, and then pitch tents with their baby mama in Maza, while daddy will be taking shifts from one location to another, like travel nurse. Oh yes, bam. That was the kind of polygamous family that Shade Okoya came from. Shade's mother was a very busy career woman, a nurse. She was hardly at home, so Shade was raised by her grandmother, who groomed her and nurtured her in the traditional cultural Yoruba fashion.
And you know, my grandmother raised me. So my mom was a busy working class woman then. So my grandmother was always the one with us, taking care of us, just like what my mom did for my own children.
Shade met Chief RASAQ when she was only 21. She had just finished from Polytechnic and was trying to figure herself out. She said that she met Chief RASAQ purely for business, that their first meeting was purely business related. Do not ask me the kind of business. I do not know the kind of business. I have tried in my research to know the kind of thing she was doing. Maybe she was in buying and selling or trade, or the kind of business she was into, but I didn't find any.
When I met my husband, it was not a typical kind of meeting. I met him for a different purpose entirely. It was more of work related.
So let's just leave it at that she met him on a business venture. She said that the moment Chief RASAQ set his eyes on her, oh my God, he took a liking to her instantly, and that he told her that he would like to see her again. And she was like, but she did see him again. And when she did, right on their second visit, Alhaji proposed marriage. That he wants to marry her.
It was just all about, oh, I would like to see you again. And I saw him the next time. He was just straight to the point then and said, I would like to marry you.
These senior citizens, they don't play. They are very straightforward, straight to the point. They are not like all these Indomie generation boys. They'll be asking you, what do you bring to the table? What is on the table? Are you down for 50-50 or 70-30? How are we going to ratio it? How are we going to apportion the ratio? Mbano. These senior citizens, and about catapult, piam, straight they shoot their shots. So Shade was confused. She just clocked 21. She was still very young, and she felt that it was too sudden to get a marriage proposal from a man that she had just met once. But as she was dilly-dallying and contemplating, you think Chief Alhaji RASAQ has time for that? Let me tell you what happened. Right there and then, when Alhaji proposed to her, he did that in front of one of his friends. And coincidentally, this friend of his knows Fola Shade down to her house, to her mother, her father, and her grandmother. So Alhaji told that man, his friend, to go straight to Shade's grandparents, to her family, and tell them his offer to marry their child. So Chief's friend went all the way straight to Shade's grandmother.
During that same visit, he was with his friends. They usually hang out together. And one of them just took an interest and said, he knows me very well. I was asking about my background, information like that. And along the line, he realized that he knew my mom and my grandmother. So later, I got to know that the particular man in question was an uncle. 2 days after, I saw the man in my grandmother's house.
When Shade's grandma heard that Chief Alhaji RASAQ wanted to marry her granddaughter, Mama boss dance.
Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ nínú orin tó ré kọjá àgbàtọ̀mọdé ẹ̀ máa yọ́nú sí mi o ìyọ́nú ọlọ́run ọba ìyọ́nú ọlọ́run ọba òun lẹ́wọ̀n máa àdórí ìrọ̀kì.
Grandma called Shade. Say, Ewa, Joko Simbe. Kí ló ń ṣe? Kí ló ń sọ̀rọ̀? You dey think am? Grandma was like, God has answered my prayers, oh. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni, go and meet your husband. Go and meet Okoye. Olúwa ti ṣe fún mi yo.
My grandmother was very happy. She was so happy. I said, God has finally answered her prayer. Seeing her, seeing my mom, I just felt like that was my path.
So with the support of her family, the full backing of her mother and her grandmother, accompanied with Chief's generosity, oh my God, Shade said that Chief was so generous.
When we started the relationship, I just liked the fact that he was very intentional. He's a very gentle man. He's very, very generous. And when I said he's generous, I mean, he gave me all his time. He's always available. He's always there.
Auntie Shade, stop this kind of talking now. Which one the billionaire is generous with his time? Time called Auntie Shade, no. Stop this. I know he was generous with time. But now we know the kind of generosity that we are talking about here. So Chief was so magnanimous, so generous. Akanchawa. And she got to feel very privileged to have been chosen by him because according to her, he had plenty of options. Why her?
So for him to take that kind of special liking to me, I felt very, very privileged now looking back because I think God just used him in my life because I don't see why when he has so many other options.
She was very grateful that Chief RASAQ chose her. So in May of 1999, Shade and Chief RASAQ got married and she moved into his magnificent estate to begin her life with him. He spoiled her silly with wealth, luxury, and excessive opulence. She began having kids for him immediately, back to back. She had her first child, a son, Olamide. Then Subomi came the next year. Then after Subomi, Oyedamola came, and then Wahab came last. Within a 5-year space, she already had 4 children for Alhaji RASAQ. And just like that, Shade became one of the most admired socialites in Lagos and Nigeria. Oh, who can remember the days of ovation, the days of encomium, and all of those papers? You will definitely know Shade Okoya. But despite Shade's newfound social status, she remained very reserved and highly respectful, extremely humble too, I must add. She revered her husband and took very good care of him, treating him with so much love and respect as he transcended to old age. She also had a lot of respect for Alhaji's first wife, Alhaja Kuberat, whom she referred to as Big Mommy. Well, Alhaja was old enough to be her mother or grandmother and was married and has been married to her husband for 50 years. She was also the only wife left when Shade came into the family. Shade avoided media tussles of any sort, devoting her whole life to her family. She said that a lot of people were waiting for her to leave the marriage even before she got in, and she was determined to prove them wrong, to make it work, come what may.
And I've planned in my life that I'm not going to have a marriage and come out of it. So I was ready to give it my all.
And so she did. Her husband also, Chief RASAQ, fell helplessly and hopelessly in love with Shade. She became his last bus stop, and he never got married to another woman after her. He said that he has had several broken homes before her and didn't want any other. He not only prophesied his love for Shade in public, he showed it. And he showed it through his devotion, his dedication, his trust, how he invested in her and the value that he placed on her. That marriage that everyone thought would pack up in no time ended up lasting up to 25 years and beyond. Now, there is something about Sade that a lot of people did not know, even I wasn't aware of, until I began researching this particular video. When people see Sade, they view her as a billionaire's trophy wife, one who just sits at home in makeup and weaves, wearing the best dresses, traveling around the world, adorned in the most expensive jewelry and all of that. But ladies and gentlemen, she is very far from just that trophy wife. Despite her husband was a stinking multi-billionaire who could have her sit at home doing nothing, he wanted her to be great as well. He wanted to improve her. He wanted her to be powerful, to have a stake in his business. He wasn't like some of these men in Nigeria that would like to hide their source from their wives. Oh, they don't want to empower her. They don't want her eyes to open. They don't want her to be independent, so she will not grow wings and challenge them. No, that was not Chief RASAQ. He wanted Sade to be very successful, to attain her own financial independence, and to find purpose in herself, aside from just being a billionaire's wife. Sade said immediately she got into the family, Chief RASAQ posted her to a factory in Solo for her to manage, and she managed that factory for many years.
Chairman didn't waste time. I call him chairman. He didn't waste time in bringing me in, and immediately he posted me to one of his factories, the one in Isolo. So I managed that for many years. Then afterwards, I had to move to Rao in Ikoyi. So I worked in the property section for many years as well.
She was only an OND holder when he married her, but he ensured that she backed her BSc. Despite Chief did not go to school, he sent his wife Sade to get her BSc. She attended the University of Lagos, where she bagged a Bachelor's of Science in Sociology, and then she got a doctorate in Business and Corporate Management from the European American University. He was ensuring that she was not only growing in her personal life, but also advancing in her career and her intellectual development. No, she never sat at home for one day, occupying the title of Wunyo Dogu and just spending husband's money. No, Sade was bringing value and working very hard in her husband's company, just like every other member of staff. She was waking up early and going to work every day, Monday to Friday, and many times even on Saturdays.
When I wake up in the morning, I go to the factory from Monday to Friday. I usually work on Saturday before for half day, but with Nigeria's social circle now that we have, so there's always one event or the other.
While her mother helped her to take care of her children, she was occupying lead positions in the company. And at the time when it seemed as though the company was fading off, when it seemed as though the brand was wearing out, as if it was, archaic and old-fashioned, not a lot of people were paying attention to their products anymore, Sade played a huge role revamping and modernizing the operations of the business, integrating contemporary designs and business practices. She and her husband will go on trade fairs together, and even when they go on vacations, she said that she will be looking at every design of every chair and every restaurant that she walks into, so she could imitate the design in the company.
Like the chairs, when I go to Europe or we'll be in a restaurant, I'll see the kind of funny looking chairs, like those classic presentable chairs.
Yeah.
And I know that, oh fine, we're already into plastic production, we can always bring this thing in. So we travel to a lot of trade fairs. Me and my husband, we like to do adventure, we go to trade fair.
Through Sade Okoya's influence, the company branched out, not only producing plastics and jewelry and all of those things, they started making makeup, soap, baby diapers, everything. They became a one-stop shop for everything household, and that business metamorphosed even more, valuing over $600 million in assets. And now Chief RASAQ is getting really old and frail. He just celebrated his 85th birthday a few days ago, and the reality of aging is fast kicking in. And as nature kicks in, he has Sade by his side, caring for him and holding his hands. And having taught his wife all the tricks and tips, we are certain that he is confident that his legacy will live on, come what may. As expected, rumors and mutters here and there have whispered, criticizing how Alhaji RASAQ just channeled all his love to only Sade, ignoring all the other women, especially Alhaja Kubirat, who they said started with him when he was nothing from the scratch. I mean, so many people went berserk on his birthday a few days ago when they were taking a family picture and Sade was there holding him and all of that, and they actually forgot to bring Alhaji Kubirat to join in on the picture, and people were like, wow, polygamy, polygamous. They began anticipating and speculating that the real cocoa of this marriage will begin to manifest and show when Alhaji RASAQ passes on. And that's when all of these battalion of children and grandchildren will give Sade a tough time. Well, what do you think about that assumption? The love story of Sade and RASAQ OKOYA is one of charm, admiration, and most especially partnership. Chief RASAQ completely charmed by Sade's elegance and intelligence, while Sade, on the other hand, captivated by his generosity, kindness, and of course, success. She became not only his wife, but his ally and trusted partner in his business empire. And together, they revitalized their multi-billion naira empire, defied society's expectation, and became a force so formidable. Their marriage is marked by mutual respect, shared goals, and a balance between family life and business success. And despite the huge age difference between them and the widespread belief that they will not work out, somehow they did. This is the story, the love story of Sade OKOYA and RASAQ OKOYA. Let us know down in the comment section what you think about this alluring love story. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. Don't also forget to join our Africa Folktale channel. I'm going to leave the link pinned in the description box and down in the comment section. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye. Bye.